Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter. I'm your host, Tom Franklin. Today we're supposed to have on Bradley Lail, but he contacted me an hour ago and he can't make it. So I'm going to have to go on as it is. We'll make it an open mic. If I sit here in silence, it's okay with me. I'll be fine. It's nothing unusual. It happens sometimes in being a podcaster. There is a dog barking in the background. It also happens as a podcaster sometimes. And I don't know. And her name is Chorizo, which is like, well, if you don't know what chorizo is, it's a special type Mexican sausage that you mix with eggs and stuff. But anyhow, so if you keep finding yourself, come back to the channel, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to it. You can also, the super chats and all that stuff is open. So if you want to go ahead and send something to help me out to support the channel so I can keep doing what I'm doing, please, by all means, do that. That is yummy. So it's just me right now. I'll put the link here. If anyone wants to jump on, if you have a story that you'd like to have something, you can please do me a favor and just hop on and I'll have you on and we can talk about anything you'd like. There's always a ton of people here on a Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. It's been wonderful. Do me a favor also, if you'd like to, go over to the membership section of my YouTube page. There's a wonderful interview that I had with Trey Hudson. He is the founder and the discoverer of The Meadow. It's the book is The Meadow, something. I think the subtitle is the what is that called? The Skinwalker Ranch of the Southeast. It's very cool. Yeah, go watch it. Definitely go watch it. It's really awesome, guys. It's 2 hours. He goes step by step, bit by bit through how he found the place, what he's been doing there. It's crazy. Oh, you've seen it. Did you go watch it? Did you actually go and watch it? I still haven't got to watch because I don't build my computer. You haven't built your computer yet. Well, what's that got? That ain't got nothing to do with anything, dude. You can still go over through your phone and watch it. I'm just joking, man. If you haven't built your computer yet, that's fine. Yeah. So my week. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and go through my week. It's been a very interesting week. I went to Carnival here. The portals. Yes, there's portals there too. The boxes with the people disappearing. You guys have to. I don't want to give away too much away. Please go over and also support Trey's work by buying his book because he doesn't. There's no federal funding for what he does. You actually have to sign the non-disclosure agreement just to even go there with him. Yeah. So on Saturday, I went to Carnival. If you guys look at if you go to the Facebook page, my Facebook page, private page, you can go to the Eye of Jupiter Facebook page and you can see that I have a private page that I write through to go there. You can see my picture. I'm wearing a skull mask with the glasses and all that. And I had your membership requires Android or computer on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I just know that you click on it. Maybe Pam can help you. I don't know how all that works. Yeah, so went down there and took my daughter with me and my girlfriend and all her friends, and we went down there and I got a little pickled, and I walked about a half hour home. So there's no issues with the police. So I did that. That was a lot of fun. And then I worked all Sunday on the. Was it Sunday I worked on the show? I think it was Sunday. Yeah, Sunday I uploaded the Trey Hudson show as well as others, and that was a lot of work. It takes about to edit the show, just this visual part that you guys see takes me about, if it's a 1 hour show, it takes me about an hour and a half to actually get it what they call rendered through the processor that I use. That's why my computer is so slow. And hopefully one day I'll be able to do something faster. And then Trey's show was 2 hours, and then I do a little something different. I'm sure you guys can see that with these Sandra Dieska. I think that's how you say her name. I know it's not right. Maybe it's Dieska. Dieska. I can't remember. But she came on and talked about the Draco agenda is what I called that one. And you can see at the very beginning, I actually take and I actually took and how was it again? I actually took a meta. It's meta AI, and I actually can take the little picture and make it move at the beginning, and then I put that on there to kind of help out with people just try to see the way I've envisioned the podcast as I'm doing it. Yeah, so did that, and then went to work on Wednesday, and you can't see it, but my hands are all You see a little white there. You see that? It's because I've been sanding walls. It's been a lot of interesting shows. I can tell you about the shows that are coming up. I can tell you about the shows that I've had that I've been enjoying lately. I don't know who that is. Okay. Let's see. Let's go through my stuff, and then you guys can see what's coming up. We can do some updates. We'll make this an update pod. Let's go to the dashboard. Let's go to the content. Hurry up. See. Videos. Let's see. So next week we're having. I did it. I sat down with the filmmaker William T. Hatfield. He has Hatfield Films, and that was a very interesting show because he just started doing this, started making films. I actually watched a few of them. They're pretty cool. So go check out William T. Hatfield's Wilderness Expedition. That's coming up next Tuesday. Then I had Gin Sabrekis back on. That was a cool show. That's coming on the week after. Then after that, I had on author and Dr. Rita Luis on intuitive healing. And that one might get me in trouble with YouTube because, you know, they do not like anything except for the prescribed way of getting better. Then I had on and it's pretty interesting. His name is Timothy Wayne. Oh, it's Timothy Wayne Williams. And he is a painter like myself. He's an oil painter. And he actually paints. He's better than I am. He's been doing it longer than I have too. But that's why we still do it. That's why we love it. And he actually paints hidden Bigfoot with inside of his paintings. And that's really interesting. So, you know, you can just sit there and look at them. You can actually buy them. And he also had a very interesting deal. He used to be in a band. He's kind of like me, a slightly older version of myself. And it was like the Crossroads deal with the devil that came up during the show. And then, of course, Trey Hudson's The Meadow Project. That was an awesome interview, just like all the rest of them. But I just want you guys to know all those. So, what do you guys want to talk about? You got any suggestion on the side other than trying to figure out why you guys can't become a member? Justin, I'm sorry. Maybe we'll figure it out. Let's see here. So sorry about my guest. Like I said, about an hour before the show, he contacted me and said he couldn't make it. Personal reasons. These kind of things happen. So I'm sitting here on a Friday afternoon with you people. So if you have any suggestions or things you'd like to talk about, maybe you'd like to come on, I will go ahead and post the link again in the chat. If you're seeing me over on Facebook, you can come on over too and come and join me. So I do want to thank you all for your support. I actually did make my minimum this month, so that worked out really well. Thank you all very much for that. It gets put back into the show as I can. The next thing is going to be proper lighting. I finally seen the light that I wanted. I got to get that and then find a spacing on the table for the light and then positioning and learn all that because sometimes my lighting is as good as I want it to be. And then whenever it picks up a little bit more, I do definitely have to get a new computer, and that is in the works. So I can just process faster. The internet works faster. I was able to get the internet to work faster. If you remember going back and seeing them, I actually do. I'm actually directly cabled into the server. We'll see what happens. There's a clock back there. Look at that. The green screen doesn't cut off the clock. There it is, right there. So I also have ideas for future channels. I'll go ahead and share it with you. I want to know what you guys think about it. Oh, there. For real? Yeah, all right.
Hey.
Very rare appearance from the best moderator in the entire universe. Hi, Pam. How's it going? Do you hear me?
I do hear you, but I'm hearing you twice.
Hi. Hi. Well, that's really, that's weird. That's never happened before. It's Pam. Everyone gets to see Pam. This is what Pam looks like. What do you want to talk about? You always have ideas. What would you like to talk
I think I know the problem. Let's see.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. This is what we normally do in the green room behind the stage before I go on. You have any earbuds or something like that? Oh my God. I can't believe it's Pam. Everyone's over here shouting that it's Pam on the show. This is wild. Look at this. Hey, it's Pam.
So help me out. I have two of you happening.
Okay. Is it? I don't know what that is. I don't know how to fix that. I would suggest plugging in some headphones and then connecting it to your ears, and maybe that'll work. Okay. How's that?
Okay.
How's that? Is that better? Is that better?
It's better for me, but I think there's a lag, right?
There's always a lag somewhere. That's no. Yeah, most likely. We'll just do it. We'll do it in time. Like when I ask for something, or you've got something you say, you just go ahead and take your time. And look, it's my guest. He's popping on real quick. Hold on. Hello.
Yes. Hey, sorry to jump in on you, man.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I apologize about this, buddy. I didn't know you had another guest. I'll dip out.
No, it was you. You were the guest.
Oh, man, I'm really sorry. This school is weird that my son goes to, and they just randomly said they had a tournament this weekend that they had to be in. So I apologize. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right. I didn't want to put any of that out there. I just said for personal reasons, Bradley couldn't make it. So, if you want to go ahead and say whatever it is you want to say, I'm okay with that.
Well, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump. I really am. I apologize, buddy. I thought you might have just been waiting on me in the lobby or something. I apologize.
No, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. I don't mind at all.
All right, so I guess you got me for a short ride until I get back to the podcast studio. What's up, man?
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, not much, man. How's it going? You've been riding through rural America right now?
Yeah, I'm riding through the woods in South Carolina, man, trying to put out these fires as I drive through,
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what.
We just randomly get.
How long is it going to take you to get back to your place? How long is it going to take you to get back to your place?
About 15 minutes.
All right. I'll tell you what. I'll just kind of fart and skedaddle around here, and if you can make it back, just go ahead and pop in like you're doing now when you're at your house. That way, it all sounds good, and we'll go from there.
All right, buddy. We'll see you in a minute.
All right, buddy.
All right, see you.
See ya. It happens sometimes, as you can see. So he's a dedicated gentleman. He did say that he wrote me literally an hour ago. My son is in the tournament. I'm so sorry. I can't make it. It popped up. I can't make it. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's okay. That was Pam, though, guys. Did you see that? That was wild. And she probably just buzzed off. She's like, I am out of here. She's like, I am out of here. So he's going to be on in 15 minutes. So that means I got to go ahead and skedaddle around here for 15 minutes. What is anything you guys want to talk about? Michael Anthony, anything you want me to talk about? Michael Anthony's over here writing, guys. I can't write him back because he won't see it on Facebook. Michael Anthony's on Facebook. I'm going to have to get him back on too, guys. 10 o'clock talks, Michael Anthony. I'm working on your cup at the moment. Hello. Oh, okay. Yes. She's working on my cup. That's right. She's making me, what do they call those things? What is she making for me? A tumbler. I didn't know what a tumbler was. So she's making me a tumbler. And some of the proceeds, I think it's going to go to autism. So whenever it gets sent to me, guys, I'm going to show you that. And then I'm going to put her link up. And then you guys can go ahead. Do fish get thirsty? No, I don't think they. I wonder if fish get dry mouth. That's what I want to know. Yeah, so she's going to then send me this tumbler in the mail. Hopefully, it gets here. It's going to my friend's house because mailing addresses here in Mexico are just awful. Like, there's not really an address unless you're in like a newer development. Oh, thank you, Tom. Yes, and so whenever the tumbler comes, I'm going to take it. I'm going to present it. I'm going to put it right here in front of my face. You guys get to see it, and then you'll be able to purchase said tumbler from her website or from wherever she does it. You got, I think it's like a promo code thing. It's going to be my first promo code, and then you guys can let her know that it was sent. That you guys went through my promo code, whatever one she decides to give me, and you guys can go ahead in a large proceed of that. I would think a third. If I'm guessing, I don't know exactly, goes to help autism. She was also doing it for the victims of the North Carolina hurricane, and that is now, I think, either officially ended or she reached her goal, and maybe she'll have another one. But we're going to go over and we're going to support her because she supports us, and that's how this works here. If you guys know any great podcasters that you talk to, you guys know any great stories, you guys know anybody who has that rare story that doesn't want to talk, send them to me. Maybe I can get them to talk. That would be cool. I mean, I'll even put them on, like, with the fuzzy face or something like that. It'd have to be a pre-record or where they can just go ahead and block their camera out. I can show you how that works. Let's see here. Settings, stop camera. Let's see there, just like that. Then I could do that with them, and they will be able to be anonymous. So, it's been one of those long days, and I'm very, 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 very tired. But the show must go on. Hey, great! Oh, thank you so much. That was very sweet of you, a little twisted. I was recently on BMR the other day, guys. Go over and check that out. I was also on a show. I can't think of the name of it right now. He's coming on this show as well. Let me go and look at my calendar so I can get his name. Then maybe you can guys find him. I was on his show. He's in England. He's awesome. I don't know. The podcast I think is new. And I offered him to come on my show, and he just reciprocated it. And he was just like, yeah, dude, why don't you come on mine? And he was supposed to come on the day before. So it was going to be him. And then I was going to go on BMR. Right. And then he wrote, oh, I'll see you at 8:30 tonight. It's like, I'm going to be on BMR. And he was like, oh, no, I didn't know. And so there was like a miscommunication, but I'm having him back on. Let me see if I can pull up his name. I'm having him on. I'm going to restart record. I'm going to recording him on the 25th of March. His name is Tommy Cullum. Tommy Cullum. I do not remember the name. It's like I can't remember the name of the podcast. Really, really cool guy. He's, so from what I know, like I get a little bit of information, guys. A little bit of, some of the usual suspects are here. What I do know is that he grew up in a haunted house, and also that see, we're outing people here today. Okay. And his whole, it's not like a haunted house like where I grew up in with the poltergeist and all that, where no one believed me except for the people who were involved in the actual paranormal activity. It was he said his whole family knows about it, and he's had a lot of like different experience, and he's going to come on as well. It's been quite interesting. Next week is going to be different. Sometimes I forget because so many things are happening sometimes, especially when the podcast starts to pick up. Things happen fast, and it's hard to keep track of a lot of things. Even though I'm only at 1,250 subs, I think it is, which is great. Thanks so much for that, guys. Next week, the podcast will be moved later. We're going to switch with the Magical Journey podcast. Go over and like and subscribe to the Magical Journey podcast. Do me a favor, also go over to Fisher Spam's The Night Watch and go ahead and check out that podcast as well. The Magical Journeys podcast is coming up right after this, so go ahead and check that out. I do not know who his guest is today, but he's always great. Next Friday at 8:30 p.m. Let me see to make sure I got this right. It's 8:30 my time. I have to go back and check the messages because there's always Mexico doesn't do the daylight savings time. So I always set everything to East Coast time because I'm from the East Coast. So it makes it easy. Thank you so much, Phil Twist. I appreciate that. I will be having on Mr. MK Davis, the one, the only MK Davis. Let me go through his messages real quick so I can make sure I can tell you guys the right time. Let's go ahead. That way you guys show up. It's different than the normal time. Normally I'm on at 6:45 Eastern time, but next week I'm going to be on later after Magical Journey. MK Davis. We will be on 8:30 Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 Central. I will be on with MK Davis, and we will be going through his observations of the Zapruder film, which is kind of interesting right now because of what's going on in the government. So we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be a lot of fun. The week after that, the Friday following, I will be having on Bigfoot Michigan Rob. He's going to come on and he's going to tell his, if you haven't heard it yet, guys, he's going to tell his Bigfoot story. And it's going to be, it's a crazy story. I've heard it before. I'm not going to lie and say I haven't, but he's the kind of guy who says, you know, maybe someone who hasn't heard it before will then come and step forward with their story. And this is what happened to him. And it's one for the ages, guys. So go ahead and catch that. Then the week after that, I will be having on, let me go and check because I had to make a change. I will be on with Roger Williams from Squatch and Holler. Pretty sure he doesn't have anything planned. So I got to give him the thumbs up. Great. I'm supposed to have a Michael Cameron. He has something coming up. So he contacted me 3 weeks in advance. Magical Journeys Red. Thank you, Pam. I can't believe Pam jumped on the podcast for 5 minutes and we just had like technical issues. It was every time I'm on the show, something weird happens. So yeah, I'm going to have Roger Williams from Squatch and Holler. I gave him he had a pre-record that will be coming up soon as well. Or no, it already happened. Go out and check that episode. He kind of breaks down. We talk about podcasting and the like. And then let's go through I'm just going through the schedule, guys, so you guys get a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Let's see. I'll also be going on the Enigma podcast on the 18th. So if you guys want to check that out, I will be going on I think it's called Ancient Enigma Files. That's what I'll be going on. I'm going to have the Cryptid podcast on. They're going to be coming on. I'm going to talk to them about their show and their experiences. On the 4th of April, I will be having on Alfred Santariga from Bronxville Paranormal Society. We're going to be doing we're going to go through his Dogman stories. I agree. Roger is awesome. He is a great guy. He's well-spoken, knows a thing or two about podcasting, and is just amazing. And then on the 11th of April, this is how far I'm booked, guys. I'm going all the way through all my bookings. On the 11th of April, I will be having on Robert Prevost from the Monsters podcast. Not quite sure what we're going to talk about yet. Roger's Roger is a great guy, and so is Robert Prevost and his wife and what they're doing over there. Great podcast. Please do me a favor, go and check out the Monsters podcast. I've had him on before. He came on my 1-year special, which was really bad because of my internet connection, but that was great. All right, dude. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Little Twisted. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, we got because you guys made it happen. We got monetized in December. So when I took the channel over, it was at 550 subs. The reason I kept the channel is because I'm the one that began the channel. And the gentleman I was working with, he got all the audio. So he got to get the audio because that's what he did. And I did the video. So that's what I did. And I got the 550 subs. So I didn't do it within a year. Hey, hello, Moon and Noon. These are all Bigfoot Michigan Rob people. Thank you guys so much for being here. And so within 10 months, I was able to get monetized. So I was a little over halfway there. But ever since then, I've jumped. So within a year, I've gotten like 700 subs, something like that. That's pretty hard to do. I'm not saying I'm the best at this. As you can see, it's been a process. I mean, the lighting is still too much. It looks like I need to go to the powder room. And if I go up too far with the light, then I look like that. So I got to get myself better lighting. But I did see a gentleman that I know he works online, and I've seen his lighting actually when I went to his house to drop off a ladder. Let's see. Hi, y'all. Hi, Noon. Hi. Everyone's saying hi to everybody. So Robert's, excuse me. Bradley's running a little late. Like you guys know, he had a bit of a family situation. He's being a dad, and that's what dads are supposed to do. Is his son's out there in a basketball tournament. I'm a big fan of basketball. I'm a LA Lakers fan, and I've been really following them ever since they've had their wonderful 8-game winning streak. 19 out of the last 21 games, or something like that, or 20 out of 22, something like that. They've been kicking a lot of butt out there. Maybe, with Paranormal Paul, what's it called? The Paranormal Among Us. He has a new channel too. What it does talks about sports. If you know the name, go Wizards. Hey, what's up, buddy? Go Wizards. You're a Wizards fan? Well, good luck with that one, dude. Go. I'm not going to say go Redskins. Well, it's not what they're called anymore. Now they're called the Commanders. Go Orioles. I'm with you on that one. I'll always be an Orioles. I grew up an Orioles fan. They're one of the worst teams. I think they won the World Series in '83. I was 3 years old. That's when Cal Ripken was a rookie. That's how long ago it's been since the Orioles won a World Series. Not a big, huge sports fan, but and I'm definitely a Capitals fan. Capitals and oddly enough, a Flyers fan. I like the Flyers, especially the old Flyers. They used to beat the crap out of each other. Yeah, a little bit of, I mean, I like sports. I was going to talk about myself. I mean, I'm just sitting here just like rambling. It's going to make me tough, I guess. I'm used to having some type of, hey, there he is. I just talked about you, dude. I just talked about, go over and check out Hatfield Films, guys. He's coming up. His show is coming up. Pardon me. What was it? Let's see. What was it again? Let's see. YouTube Studio. Content. Yes. Videos. Yeah. It is actually really cool. I actually looked at your videos, dude. I told you I was going to actually check them out, and I actually really liked it. William T. Hatfield. Welcome to the Eye of Jupiter, buddy. Maybe one day, once people see your show, you can come on and we can just talk about something. That would be cool. I'd enjoy that immensely. Yeah, it was a different kind of show. It was normally people have a ton of experiences. You know, he's running into, wood knocks, and he's running into like some signs out in the woods, but he's basically like going out there. Zanzibar. Thank you so much. That's the name of Paranormal Paul's new sports show. Go over and give it some love, guys. He said it's his first love, and his second love, I think, is the paranormal. So now that he's got his paranormal show going, he's going to go back and do some sports as well. Kobe, get out of here with Kobe. Hey, Hatfield Films. Yeah, it's a cool show, guys. Go check. It's going to be, I think, 2 weeks, something like that. No, it might be next week. I think it's next week. Yeah, it's March 11th. So it's going to be this Tuesday coming up, guys. So it was Saturday, Friday, Saturday. So 3 days. 3 days, you get to see that one. He's up here right now. I love Kobe icon after. Okay, dude. We're going to be talking about a lot of sports. We're not going to talk about sports. It's not a sports channel. So what I'm also going to be doing in the future, whenever this takes off, whenever a certain thing happens in my life that I hope will kick in, I'm going to be starting a new channel too. And you guys are all welcome to come. So, and I also would like to have some, what I would like from you guys actually would be some stories. You know what I mean? You can even write your own creepypastas and send them in to me. Give me some stories that are about 10 minutes long, 10 to 12 minutes long, and I will actually read them. So you'll see how much fun that is when I read. And the idea is, there you go. Thank you, Pam. She's the brains of the show, guys. I book them, and she makes sure it gets promoted and make sure that everyone. Espanol internet not agreeing. Sorry, guys. And I light them up and she knocks them down. That's my wonderful moderator, the best moderator in the business, Pam. So this is my idea. I kicked it around with Jim from Fisher of Spam's The Night Watch. So Hi, Paul. We just promoted your show, Paul. Here you go, buddy. One more time. There we go. His new show. Please do me a favor. Also, go over to Paranormal Paul's show, his show, The Paranormal Among Us. He's really close to being monetized. I think he's somewhere in the upper 900s, 960, 70, something like that. Go over and check out his show. He's very good at what he does. And he also does the show with Tex, and he's over there. He's under like the umbrella of like, Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Texas Front Porch and Blondes and Booze and other shows and the like. They have their little like podcast group. There we go. But he kind of talks with us too. He's in our group. Cool guy, great show, love him. And yeah, what else was I? Yeah, so the idea for the show, when it happens, as you guys know, I am an oil painter. Let me see if I can even show you. Let me show you real quick. Let's see. Stop cam. Nope. Settings. Let's see here. Camera. Virtual background. I'll turn it off real quick. None. You get to see the situation I'm sitting in. You see those paintings back there? This one. Matter of fact, I'll go grab them for you. No, actually, I won't grab them for you. I can't at the moment. Personal reason. Yeah, but as you can see, this painting here, I can't even zoom in on it, but here's a painting, and here's a painting. I'm an oil painter. It's not something I've always been interested in. Let's see, will it pop back up again? Boom, there it is. But it's something I used to do. I actually have a channel called Tom Franklin Art. I'm going to go ahead and revamp that channel and maybe change the name of it and get a different logo since I learned how to podcast and go and do it. So the idea for the show is that I paint, not live. It'll be all pre-recorded, all of it. And it's going to be a show that's be about 10 to 12 minutes long, depending on how fast I make the painting section. I think it's going to be about 8 speeds. So I'm going to go ahead and hyperlapse the painting. Paintings take me anywhere between like an hour and a half to 3 hours to do, depending on the detail and if I'm having difficulties. Yes, Bob Ross shit. Exactly. A big fan of Bob Ross. When I started dabbling in cannabis, I ran into Bob Ross, which is not the truth. I actually ran into him before that. I just got really interested in it and started picking it up. And it's been a while since I've done it. I just haven't been able to find the space or time to do so. I've been working incredibly hard on this podcast to try to make ends meet with the podcast as well as my life. Having a daughter, different relationship situation, moving to Mexico. You guys know the story. You've been on the show many, many times. Did you know that, Tom? Those are incredible. What did I know? What are you asking me? Paul shows have had you. Did you know that, Tom? Those are incredible. I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, I love that. I paint too. Oh, you do? No kidding. I didn't know that. So the idea is, it's not the whole idea. I'm trying to get through it, but I keep getting sidetracked. I'm not used to this style of talking in front of people. So the idea is simply, I paint with lighting and get a good camera, and I just do it. You'll see my mouth do this because when I paint, I concentrate. Like I said, you can go over to Tom Franklin Art and actually see it that I used to paint live. A lot of it's in Germany. You can see me wearing my coat and everything because I'm outside in the cold weather painting because I really love it. And so I paint, I hyperlapse it fast. I don't explain how to do it. I think I did one tutorial in there, but everyone does tutorials. So I'm going to do that. And then at the same time, I'm going to put paranormal stories in. So it's going to be me painting. This is future, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, or maybe sooner. I hope it's sooner than that because that would be incredible because that's what I'd like to do. You see the painting, you get to see me actually do the painting. And then the audio will be me, my golden tubes here, talking about paranormal stories. Could be a creepypasta, could be an actual encounter. You guys just go ahead and contact me and write me, over the email, and I'll take your story and I'll pull it up and I'll sit here in front of my microphone and I'll actually record it. There it is. Jumped over from Facebook. Thank you, Paul. There he is. How close are you to getting monetized, man? If you don't mind telling me. Saying hi to everyone. Hi, Pam. Hi, Moon. Hi, everybody. Hey, a paranormal ball. He's over here. All right. Anybody? I'll take a look myself. Let's go and see. Let's go and type it in. Let's take a look. See how far you're 33 away. Is that what you're telling me? You're 33 away. Is that a bad number? We all know the significance of 33. Let's go and check it out. I'm going to do this live. We're doing it live. He's 33 subs away. Let's see. All right. Let's see. The Paranormal Among Us. Paranormal Among Us. Let's go ahead and check it out. How many subs are you away, buddy? Not 33 away. Let's see if we can get that to 30 away. Let's get him off that awful number. So then Paul is going to be up with me, and I'm awesome. That would be cool that we can maybe do that for him. 33 subs. Give him one. Could someone sub to his channel one time so he can get off that number 33? Not just the Jesus 33. We're talking about the 33 degree of masonries. Hi, what's up? How's it going? A little twisted. I know, a little twisted. So you guys use different names here than what you use on your emails, and sometimes I don't remember who's who. Hopefully Bradley will get home enough soon. And I don't know how far we can get into it because right up after this, we're going to have on Magical Journey, the Magical Journey podcast. I said masonry. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. 33. 27 is an interesting number too, if you know anything about very famous musicians, be it Janis Joplin or Jim Morrison or Amy Winehouse or Jimi Hendrix. Who else am I missing? 27. Oh, Kurt Cobain. Like all these people went away with 27. It's a weird number too. That no one talks about on these shows. 32 is the highest degree in the Mason, and 33 has to invite a 32 to be a 33. Interesting. Well, if you ever want to come on and talk about that one day, that would be cool. If you know how much you know. How much do you know about the Masons, JD? Okay, we can't be talking about that word. We can't say that word on YouTube. That word is not YouTube worthy. Oh my God, dude. I don't know why half the time the stuff doesn't work. It says it can't be received, but you know the word starts with a K. You can't say that word. I actually got my first, what was it? What's the name of this one? Well, thanks for hitting the like button, y'all. Hey, definitely. Thanks for hitting the like button. I appreciate that. Like I said, it's a little weird today. You know, things happen, things pop up. And I'm over here just scratching. I was told by Michael from 10 O'Clock Talks that it builds character. I don't know about all that, Michael. I think my character is built. It's about talking by myself to an audience of 12 people and you guys listening to me for no apparent reason. So my lady should be coming in a little while, maybe. She's going to go do some singing today. I need to get an electric guitar, too. I haven't held one of those in my hand in 3 years. Well, I've had one in my hand. I've held my buddies for 20 minutes. I'll be doing that, too. Once I'm, quote-unquote, retired, I wouldn't dare speak of the Masons not being one. It would make it life fun for me after that. Okay, fair enough. If you don't want to talk about the Masons, all right. Your name is not okay. Listening is good, bud. All right. Is it? All right. Is there anything you guys want to talk about in the meantime? Could you sing for us, Tom? What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Is that good enough, Paul? You happy? Little Joe Cocker? Shadow figures. That was interesting. All right. Shadow figure. This is weird. So, it's very funny. What are they? I don't know what they are. I don't thank you, JD, for the suggestions. Shadow figures. Thank you. That's an awesome suggestion. Wasn't even in my purview. That's interesting. So, recently, I've been seeing them out of the corner of my eye in this small apartment that I'm in. It's a one-bedroom, like what do they call it? A one-room, what do they call it? Studio apartment. Was that great? Was that great? Did you guys like the singing? I am a singer. I really am, but not a singer. I'm more of a screamer. Um, you guys go ahead and put in a bad joke if you want to. I'm not going to do it on this show. I also used to be. Oh, this is going to make some of you guys hate me. I used to be on a podcast. That's where I really started podcasting. It's with a friend of mine. He's a comedian. He's going to be opening for Sam Talent. If you know who Sam Talent is, he's a big comic, and my buddy is stepping up in the ranks slowly but surely. We met in the comedy scene, which is like my third love. This is my fourth love when it comes to being a creative person. I love the boat theme. All right. I don't know what that means. We started a comedy scene in Germany, and I started in 2014. I met him, I think, in 15. His name is Chris Barrett, and he's going to be opening for Sam Talent. And we used to have a podcast together during COVID, and because we were completely bored and I was losing my mind. If you guys know anything about me and how much I really love that whole situation, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we started a show, and it was actually, I think we recorded like 30 episodes, only 23 got out. I guess he got busy. I think he was going to school and working at the same time and doing stand-up. It was called Pokey Talk Time. So if you want to hear me be a complete and utter idiot, I didn't even have an apartment. I was still together with my ex-wife at the time. So I didn't have internet because I lived out in the bush up here in Mexico. And so I would drive into town and go to this cafe, and I'd be in there talking crazy stuff. I don't even want to tell you what I was talking about. You might have a different view of me if you see this show. Enjoy your pizza, Paul. Enjoy your pizza. So I used to be on a show called Pokey Talk Time, and that was a wild one. And so he's going to be opening for Sam Talent, and so that's where I kind of got my chops. Here's another one of my moderators, Jim. What's up, buddy? How's it going, Jim? So that idea that I was telling you about, the podcast idea, actually kind of sprung up with me and Jim talking. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, Fisher. It sprung up with me and him chatting about it. And he was like, you're a painter. You should actually put my music. Oh, yeah. I'm sing Black Hole Sun. Oh my God, I don't remember all the words. Hang my head, drown my fears, wish you'd all just disappear. Black hole sun, what a bum. There you go. Any other requests? You guys want to hear Spoon Man next? I just lost like half of my audience. Great suggestion. Yes, I was actually talking about that idea with Jim, my buddy Jim. We got to talking one day. I just called him up or whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, I know. You paint. You should put Bigfoot in your paintings," and that's what that one guy does. And I was like, that's been done. And so we don't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the painting with the talking in the background with the stories. A shadow person is okay. There we go. Thank you so much, Mr. William T. Hatfield. A shadow person is the perception of a shadow as a living species, humanoid figure, sometimes interpreted as a presence of spirit or other entity by believers in the paranormal or supernatural. Learn to Fly. I don't know that song. I know the song, but I don't know any of the lyrics to the song. I listen to very extreme metal. I can do like pretty much any Metallica lyric that you want. I grew up listening to Metallica, not the newer stuff like the first 4 albums. Well, not even Kill 'Em All so much, but definitely anything from Ride the Lightning all the way up until Justice for All. I could do all those. I could pretty much do all the lyrics on those. Pretty much. Don't put me on the spot, but all right. So I've been hanging out long enough. We got Bradley here. I don't know how far we can go in. Pam, could you also write me and tell me when? Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, bro?
Hey, Pam, can you do me a favor and tell me when Magical Show starts so we can see how much time we have? I think we'll have about let's see, I think he starts at 7:15. We have about 45 minutes, man. So
Dude, I'm all yours. I'm sorry.
don't worry about it, man. Don't you ever worry about it. I
Dude, I'm
understand,
really
dude.
sorry.
This is being a dad is more important than being on this show.
Thank you for understanding that, man. It really was, and I'm sorry to your audience for that pop in too. That sucked. I didn't know you had somebody else, man. I'm really sorry about that.
No. I was sitting here just swimming, floating, because I was like, I got the show, and like I don't have my I don't really use Instagram so much.
Oh,
you know
I
what
got
I mean? So when I seen it, I was just like, I can't. And then I was like, well, I'm going on in like 5 minutes. I was like, maybe he wrote me a message. So I went over to Instagram and seen it. I was like, oh no, he's it's the but don't worry about it.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. Really sorry.
Don't apologize. We're done. It's over with. Let's go ahead. Tell everybody about yourself, man. A little bit about your show, and let's get into what you want to talk about, buddy.
Yeah, thank you again for having me, and for your audience for please forgive me, man. I'm in a lose situation because I left the tournament. My son won. They advanced to the next round, and I was like, I gotta go. I'm sorry. So like, I'm here tonight with you guys, man. I committed to y'all, so I apologize. But my name is Bradley Lail. I'm the host of the Awaken Podcast. You can find me at theawakenpodcast.com. Has all my links to my show. You got Spotify, you got Apple Podcast link, all that stuff on there. That's the easiest way to find me is the Awaken Podcast. I used to have merch, but the program I was using just ended, so I got to figure out a different thing for that. But yeah, that's pretty much where everything is centrally located, and I talk about all things physics and energetics and media manipulation and conspiracy theories and paranormal, and all of it fits together. So yeah, thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. Pam, I love Pam, by the way. Pam's great.
That's who was on when you popped on. That was Pam.
Oh, Pam. Hey, I'm sorry.
She's
Pam.
never on camera, dude. She's never on camera, dude. So she was like, "Oh, Tom is having a rough go of it. I'm going to pop on and just talk."
That's sweet of you, Pam. Pam's always sharing stuff, by the way. She on Instagram, and she's always liking stuff, man. Listen, guys. I'm grateful for anybody who wants to hear me talk. That's the truth of it. Like, I don't think I have any kind of opinions that's worthy of anything, but if somebody wants to listen to me talk, man, and share my stuff, it really means a lot to me. It means the world to me, actually, because I'm like, for many years, dude, when you first start waking up to all this stuff and you get into this, you feel alone. You feel like by yourself. And so when I came into the podcast world, I found like a little family, you know what I mean? Like people that I can relate to, and they can relate to me. And I didn't sound crazy when I said, off the wall things about, all the connections of paranormal and spirituality and all this other stuff. So it's nice to be in a place where people appreciate you, man. And you're not getting called the crazy person at home or whatever the case is. So
I don't mind that. You can call me crazy if you want to. I've been hearing that for all my life. It doesn't bother me as much as it used to. Dude, like the first time I actually heard about you was, I'm a big fan of Tinfoil Hat, Sam Tripoli. And I heard, I was like, oh, this guy, and I think you were talking about the 33rd parallel or so. I can't remember what you were talking about on the show. And I was like, I'm reaching out to him. I had you on, and then, excuse me. And then I had really bad audio issues. You sounded great. I sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. And, so I was like, I got to have him back on. And then I was just like, the forces of the universe do not want us to speak with each other, but we'll get there. I'll have you back on. We'll do it again. Don't worry about it.
Dude, you can have me on as many times as you want, man. I'm open to any day of the week, every day of the week. So let's do it anytime you want. But I'm happy to be here now with you, dude.
Fair enough, dude. Oh, yeah. Brad is also, just like me, a former U.S. Army veteran. So people like to say thank you for your service. I always find it to be uncomfortable, but I do understand the meaning and the feeling behind it. So just so you guys know, he's another. What were you? I was
Air Force, but hey, man, I still did stuff. I wasn't just a chairman. I didn't just sit on my chair. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East, dude.
You know what we call you guys, don't you?
What? Chair Force?
You know what we call you guys, right?
What, Chair Force?
Boys.
Oh,
fly boys.
Yeah, dude. Everybody asked me that. Yeah, everybody asked me that, and I'm like, no, I flew a lot, but not like I didn't have like official hours or anything like that. But I flew a lot to the Middle East, dude. I spent, man, out of 8 years, I probably spent 6 of those in the Middle East. I lived in Turkey. I was stationed in Turkey. I was in 18 Middle Eastern countries, dude. So I spent a lot of time over there. We used to work for an army general, and
Okay.
traveled around with him. So like I was a photographer, by the way. That's why I got a nice camera set up. You know what I mean? Like I been a
Oh,
photographer for,
you're that dude from Full Metal Jacket. You're that guy from
yeah,
Full Metal
Raptor
Jacket that they
Man,
made
dude.
fun of.
Yeah, Raptor Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I got a picture in here on my wall signed by Adam Baldwin, who played the bully on that movie, Platoon. That we're talking about the movie Platoon, by the way. And he
Yeah.
played the bully, and he's actually a friend of mine, dude.
No, no, no. We were talking about Full Metal Jacket.
I'm sorry, not Platoon, Full Metal Jacket. You're right. I'm sorry. I got
Right,
my
right.
wires crossed there. Yeah.
Don't
Full
worry
Metal
about it.
Jacket. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, but he was the
Yeah.
bully
Sorry, I don't mean to
on
correct you.
Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, dude. But yeah, I met him in 2009, and coincidentally, my mom was in the Navy as well, dude. I was just telling somebody earlier, the lady who cuts my hair. I was like, yeah, my mom was in a plane crash, dude. A lot of people don't even know that, and I always forget to tell people. And that is like a huge deal, but like it's pretty interesting. She survived the plane crash in Jacksonville, in the river in Jacksonville, about 6 years ago now, I guess. Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. She called me one night. She was out of the blue. She's like, "Hey,"
Holy crap, dude.
she's like, "I got something to tell you." She's like, and this was like 1:00 in the morning. I was like, "What's up?" And she's like, "I was in a plane crash." I was like, "What the fuck? What, a plane crash?" Like it freaked me the hell out. I'm like, "What? Like, and you survived?" And she was like, "Well, it's not like it fell out of the sky. We were landing and it slid off the runway into the river, but it was still going like 200 something miles an hour. So everybody on the plane, we're in the water as the plane was sinking and stuff. I mean, and they got, banged around pretty good. So it's pretty interesting little tidbit there. But yeah, my mom was in the Navy.
Shout
My
out to
brother
your
was in the
mom
Air
to be
Force.
so she's quite a resilient lady that she can just be called. Yeah, the way I don't know if that's the way she talked to you, but that sounds like she was really chill about it. Like, hey, you know what? So on Sunday, I'm bringing over the roast. Oh yeah, and I was in a plane crash.
Right, dude.
So if you have time, would you like to get into what you wanted to talk about? We have about, let's see, we have about 30, 40 minutes, something like that. Would you like to talk about what you wanted to discuss today?
Well, I mean, I've been talking a lot about plasma. I've been talking a lot about, atoms and basically the way that light is created. I've been talking a lot about that kind of stuff. I still talk about the 33rd parallel stuff. A lot of wildfires going on the 33rd parallel right now. But yeah, man, we can get into anything you want. The plasma stuff is pretty interesting because that is an explanation of where paranormal stuff comes from. And so whenever I go on like paranormal shows, I want to tell people like that's a pretty, I'm not saying my theory's right, but I think that I'm onto something with my theory on plasma, what I call plasma portals. So
yeah, go ahead, dude. Do me a favor, just fire away. I mean, well, I'll go for the ride, and you just go ahead and take us because I know you're like a researcher and podcaster as well. You do a little bit of both. It's also kind of opinion pieces, a little bit of course. If you're piecing things together, you're going to add your personality to it. And yeah, I'm all ears, dude.
Okay, so everybody back in December, January, by the way, if I'm too loud, let me know and I'll turn my mic down.
No, you sound great. You sound great.
Back in January, December, everybody was seeing these drones all in the sky. Well, for about a year, but prior to that, I was working on something because I remember over the last few years, I've been watching different shows about like I remember watching Tinfoil Hat with a guy named Dave Zed, and he kind of popped in, was talking about plasma a little bit, then popped out. And then I started thinking like plasma, that's interesting. So I kind of researched it a little bit. Then I did a show with a lady named Emily Moyer, and I was talking with her, and she's like, you got to read this book called A New Science of, everything's burning right now. Magical. But she was talking about this book called A New Science of Heaven by a guy named Robert Temple. She's like, it sounds like what you're talking about. You really got to read it. So I took her advice. I bought the book and read it. And it was basically confirming everything that I had already thought or was thinking. And I don't know, you know how it is with like, So you know how comedians think that people steal their jokes and stuff like that, right? It's like it
Yeah,
kind of feels
sometimes.
like it kind of feels like maybe I heard this from somewhere or something, but also I kind of investigated this on my own as well. So if I did hear it from somewhere else, I don't know where I heard it from, but I did. The seedlings of it started with a guy named Dave Zed from Generation Z podcast. I don't even know if he still does it anymore, but yeah, that's how I got interested in Tinfoil Hat. And you mentioned Tinfoil Hat earlier, by the way. I was lucky to get on that show. I was lucky to get on the confessionals.
You
And
run the
then,
confessionals.
yeah.
Oh, I
So
didn't
just
know
talking
that.
about the 33rd parallel and stuff, but you know, I got lucky to get on those shows, man, and I've taken it to where I'm at now with it. I didn't even expect to get on any shows whatsoever. And in fact, I wanted to kind of blur my face out and deepen my voice and all that stuff. Cause I was like, I don't want this stuff, you know, I don't want, cause I used to be in the military. I don't want people to be like, oh, he, you know, was in the military. He's a CIA agent or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And I also didn't want to like any shit on my family. Like, you know, I got a wife and kids. I don't want nothing. I don't want people, you know, knowing who I am and where I live and all this stuff. But so anyways, man, so I started investigating this plasma portal stuff or plasma. And I started discovering that there's this whole world that's being hidden from us that we don't know about. You went to school here in the United States, right? I mean,
yes.
You grew up in the yeah, right, man. I'm sorry to ask that question. I just don't. I mean, you live in Mexico, right? So like, I don't know if maybe you grew up down there a little bit and kind of.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. Why I'm not afraid to say anything, because you can come down here and find me if you want to. We can hang out and have a beer. I mean, I'm way out here. Good luck finding me. I'm off the grid, baby.
Well, so yeah, I tried. That's why we've got some land here in South Carolina, man. We're kind of in the country a little bit now. That was our whole goal, was to grow food and kind of have a sustainable life of our own here on our land. So, but man, I started discovering like, so what I was asking about with the school is that they didn't teach us about the fourth state of matter, which is plasma. Like, or at least in South Carolina education, I didn't learn that. I learned solid, liquid, and gas. Well, I didn't pay much attention to it until like I said, with the Dave Zed stuff. And then once I started researching, I'm like, oh, they have been keeping that fourth state of matter from us forever. In fact, plasma used to be called ether for about 2,500 years from Aristotle. Like, this is classical physics. That's classical physics. They talk all about metaphysics and stuff like that. And metaphysics is just stuff that you can't measure. You can't measure. Like, and so what modern science does is they just throw it all out and they say, well, you can't measure it, so it's garbage. So at the early 1900s, when the what is it called, the Rockefellers took over the education system with the General Education Board, they basically, that's when things started changing. They started taking out ether from all of the textbooks and started and that's when Einstein's theory of relativity first was like 1905 or something like that. It was a small little paragraph, and then they expanded on a little bit later. But it wasn't until 1928 that they started saying, not ether, let's call it plasma, because they're saying that you can measure plasma, but you can't really measure plasma because plasma, it's kind of invisible. It's just like it's this soup of electrons and positively charged ions and electrons that are just, it's a soup of ionized gas that's kind of floating around us. We can't see it, but you can get glimpses of it a little bit. You know how when the sunlight hits dust and you can see like little dust particles? That's kind of that. So like those little dust particles, plasma can actually attach itself to those little dust particles and it starts to form stuff. And so we're sort of suspended in this plasma state, this ether. This ether is all around us. So I'm going to use, when I say ether or plasma, they're synonymous. They're the same thing to me. They just have changed the name. They've hijacked it, and they said that plasma is the new science, ether is the old science. Let's get rid of that. So that changed around 1928. But like I said, think of it like as we're fish in the ocean. And again, plasma is the fourth state of matter. So if you heat a solid, it becomes a liquid. If you heat a liquid, it becomes a gas. If you heat a gas, then that's when it disperses into this electrified soup of ions that I just mentioned, like free electrons and positively charged ions. And so, we live in this 0.0035% of visible light in the light spectrum. A lot of people think that when you think about like paranormal, everybody's like, oh, when you see UFOs and stuff, they think that's paranormal. It's actually us that's paranormal, because the remaining 99.9965% is where these things are coming from. They're coming from this void. It's a pure intelligence that's around us, and the whole process that's around us is what creates us, right? They're the product of us. We are light beings. So we're in this like 0.0035% of visible light, this small little window. We're in God's light. That's why we're made in his image, right? I don't mean to take it to a biblical place, but that's where it is, right?
Beautiful.
So there's this void, what I call the antimatter, all around us, that exists all around us. And the best way to think about this is like a trampoline. If you go up under a trampoline and you take your fist and push it up, if you're looking at it from the top, it looks like a mountain, right? Well, you're not seeing that void that's underneath it. So everything that has a frequency has an anti-frequency, right? So if you think about the frequency of a wavelength, at the crest of that wavelength, that is what kind of creates a photon of light. So there's the back and forth between, I'll get to it. I'm sorry to kind of jump
you're
all
killing
over
it,
the place,
dude. Don't worry about it. Just roll, baby, roll.
So the nucleus of an atom and the electron, they're constantly there's this wavelength that's going back and forth between them, this frequency that's going back and forth between them. When electron gets excited, that's when basically this is how all elements are made, right? So when electron falls back, it creates a little thing of light. So there's this constant back and forth interaction between the nucleus and the electron, and that shoots off that emits a little photon of light, a quanta of light. So that's us. That's where we live. We live in that little quanta of light, right? And a lot of people, again, forget that 99% of the universe around us is invisible to us. We can't hear it. We can't see it, things like that. So I'm going to get back to the plasma stuff. So when the sun's out, plasma's heated. And so what I just said a while ago, when you heat a gas, it becomes a soup of ions, right? So when the sun's out, plasma's heated and returns to its soup-like state and free electrons and positively charged ions. So that's the reason why, that's how plasma exists, okay? When the sun's out, everything disperses. When the sun's gone, everything comes back together. That's why you see paranormal stuff at night. Most of it happens when
at night, yes.
Right. That's when the sun is, you see it a lot when the sun's going down. And there's a reason for that.
Right, the change.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's like
as the sun
happening.
Yeah, the sun is shooting these things called Birkeling currents, which are electric. Just think of them as like electric currents that are coming from the sun straight into Earth. It hits the Earth. It creates a EMP, electromagnetic pulse, in the Earth, and that pulse creates electric charge, and that charge shoots up through faults and fissures and volcanoes and any kind of crack in the earth, and that's called a telluric current. It creates a telluric current. So as the sun, when that sun is out, it is basically electrifying the ionosphere above us, and there's I forget the gas exactly. I want to say it's neon, maybe radon, that it heats up and emits a blue light, and that's what we see. We see air glow, and that's why when you look up in the sky during the day, it's not black; it's just blue. So, as the sun does that, that means that the plasma is electrified and it's creating that blue air glow. And so these things are dispersed during the day, right? God's light. Anytime you say the name of Christ, these things go away. This is where all this comes into play. So
wow,
right?
Oh, dude, that was an atomic drop right there. That was an atomic missile. That okay? Because I've been wondering that myself. I'm not a Christian. I'm a man of God. Whatever that is okay with me. But I do know that the name Christ hold sway and power over these activities. And when people feel threatened, or they feel or fear, that when you say that name, or that it holds so much power, and that explanation is fantastic. Wow.
Light disperses the plasma back into its original state. So these things that we're seeing, they're coming through this plasma, right? They're coming into this plasma. They're all around us all the time. They are in this plasma that we're in. They're not in the form of us, but it's called nonlinear intelligence. This is where you get into the idea of supercomputers. Plasmas,
Okay.
they discovered this with these two giant plasma clouds above Earth called the Kordylewski clouds.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Yeah,
Dude.
they studied these clouds, and they discovered that these clouds are extremely intelligent and nonlinear, meaning they're like a supercomputer. And what that means is, like, when you think of linearity, when you go to put in a password, that's why someone tells you to, or the thing tells you to put in the exclamation points and the number signs and all these other different things, because a linear computer would quickly figure out a password if it was password 1 2 3 4. But then you throw in an exclamation point, and it takes it another 10 years. Throw in a hashtag or whatever, it takes it another 100 million years, and so on and so on. Well, the reason that happens is because there's this linearity, this constant. Well, they tried this. Nope. They tried that. Nope. They tried this. And it keeps going up like a slope, like a ski slope or something, right? Mm-hmm. Well, nonlinear means that it's crazy. It's chaotic. It's just like our lives. When you think about our lives, every moment that we're living in is the now, right? And every now, there's a million different possibilities. Every moment, we're in superposition. It's like rolling a dice, it exists in all states at the same time until you make a decision, until you put your intent towards that decision. So the point is that we are nonlinear beings as well, meaning anything can happen at any moment. It all depends on our intent and our free will, what we decide to do with that.
Very good message.
So they discovered that these Kordylewski clouds were nonlinear. Like, they were supercomputers, and they're like, oh man, so plasma is this supercomputer, right? So, okay, I'm gonna get to it. I promise. I talked about the
great, dude. No, please, dude. I just want to ask about these clouds. Aren't these clouds outside of the atmosphere?
Yeah, allegedly. Well, so that's kind of a complicated thing, right? It's like, okay, yes, they're above Earth's ionosphere, allegedly, okay, but the ionosphere takes up 3 levels of the atmosphere. It's all 3 levels of the atmosphere. They're just different levels of the ionosphere, or of plasma, essentially. So the what you call it, the what is the thing that the ISS floats around in it floats around in plasma, basically. They haven't gone past that. They haven't gone past those 3 levels of the ionosphere. So that thing is sitting up basically at the edges of the firmament, looking down. That's all that is.
Firmament. You're a believer in the firmament.
Well, the ionosphere is the firmament. You think okay, so the reason I say that is because when we think of satellites, when you think about those old dishes that we used to have in the 80s, right? Like for satellites for TV, they were pointed at a certain direction. They were pointed at an angle because people think that they were going to space. They weren't going to space. They were bouncing off the ionosphere and going to it. Yeah. And so we can't go past the ionosphere. I don't know why we keep pretending like we can. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we can't. And
at the very least, the Van Allen belts.
Well, the Van Allen belt is we can't get past the Van Allen belt. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, think about that. It's crazy. It's chaotic. Trying to get a ship through a bunch of craziness like that. And I mean, if think about, like, when we fly in a plane and they say turn off your cell phones, there's a reason why. Because your phone is giving off these electromagnetic radiation that affects the magnetic field of the plane as well. So think about the Bermuda Triangle too. There's a heavy magnetic field in the Bermuda Triangle area
that causes all this, planes to your compasses go in all these different directions, electronics fail, all this stuff. We can get to the eye of Jupiter. Hang on. Sorry.
No,
Well, I don't know. That's not my expertise. That's
no, I'm just trying to, when people write cool little comments, I give a little love, that's all it is.
So, okay, let's get back to the plasma, right? I don't want to get too far away from it. So basically they discovered that plasma is highly intelligent, a supercomputer. So when the sun's out, it disperses this plasma, it disperses this stuff back into this plasma state. When the sun goes away, as the sun moves away either around the earth or from side to side, or however you think of the earth being flat or whatever,
who knows?
Whatever, who cares? It all does the same thing. When the sun, you can't deny the sun exists. So either way, there's a bright thing in the sky that's clearly creating this like blue air glow in the sky. As it leaves, as it rotates or whatever, that electrified ionosphere starts to relax a little, and these highly intelligent plasmas start to form back together quickly. This is a very important thing. As the sun goes down, they quickly form back together. Because here's the reason why it's important. Because the sun, like I said, when it hits the earth, it creates that telluric current coming out of these volcanoes and fissures. So it creates a vortex of energy, a magnetic field. And when these plasmas form together quickly, they become what's called complex plasmas, which is what the Kordylewski clouds are. Complex plasmas are highly intelligent. And they basically float around looking for a magnetic field. They hit the magnetic field. There was a guy named Winston Bostick who studied this in the 50s. He would shoot plasmoids or plasma toroids he would shoot plasma into a magnetic field, and it would create a plasma toroid, which he called a plasmoid, which is the shit we're seeing in the sky, in New Jersey and all this other stuff. So what happens, this complex flat plasma forms together quickly. And I don't know if you've seen the video of Jeremy Corbell that he shared of this blob called the jellyfish UFO that was flying over Iraq, right?
Yes.
That's a complex plasma. It's invisible to us, but it still clumps together. It's an intelligent being. It's looking for a magnetic field. When it hits that magnetic field, it becomes an orb. It becomes a toroid. It becomes a ring, a halo ring, or different shapes. Many toroids form together, and they start to form little orbs. And there's tons of evidence that happened in December. I got tons of videos of it I could share with you guys if we had more time. I guess we could do that. But so these toroids form together, and they create what looks like orbs. And these orbs fly around. A lot of people call them ball lightning or what have you, whatever you want to call it. It's orbs. It's different beings coming from this plasma that's around us. So they're not extraterrestrials. They're ultra terrestrials. They exist around us. They're just always around us. That's how they know us, is because they're always around us, just flying around, invisible, looking at us and stuff. So anyways, they form together, they form into an orb. When that orb forms, it has this magnetic field around it. And it just flies around, and it looks for these putrefied ions or any kind of ions that it can pull towards it and form into something. So this is where shape-shifting comes in. So think about putrefied ions of, let's just say, a dead bear in the woods, or a dead skunk, or all these different dead animals in the woods. Well, if these orbs are flying through the swampland and they hit all these putrefied remains, the ions of the putrefied remains of dead animals, it can quickly turn into whatever that was, because it could pull those ions together and make a shape. It can make a cryptid, it can make a UFO, whatever it wants to make. So it quickly forms into that. And once they're in this reality, that's why they have underground bases. That's why they have USOs, underwater submergible objects or whatever. That's why they have bases under the water, because the sunlight disperses them back into that plasma state. That's why when you say the name of Christ, like I said, Christ is the embodiment of light and love and, this higher vibration. And so when you say the name of Christ, like I said, they disperse. So what happens is these things come in and they trick people. They'll tell you, Tom, we know your grandma used to make you your favorite blueberry pie, and they'll pretend to be your grandma, right? They'll say, I'm your grandma. I used to make your favorite blueberry pie when you were 6 years old or whatever. And you go, shit, only my grandma would know that, right? Got to
Right.
be an angel. So then they go, Tom, go build a stone circle and help us come into reality. Help us come into this, create these what's called spirit lines or whatever, right? So that's where you get Stonehenge, Avebury. That's where you get pyramids, all this stuff. It was created. The stones that create these things are called blue stones. And what they do is they basically entrap magnetic currents, and they form little vortices. That way these things can easily come in. They don't have to fly around all over the place looking for a vortices. They got one right there at Stonehenge. They can pop in anytime because their ancestors, or our ancestors, built those things, and they tricked them. They tricked them into thinking that they were, and so their goal is to always exist in this reality. The ones that you see during the day, the shiny metallic ones, those are just shells that protect the plasma during the daytime so they don't disperse back into plasma. So I know it's kind of deep, right?
No, it's just you just had to kind of had to get it out there because we have about 15 more minutes. We're running short. Things happen. The world moves. Life goes on. But you are hitting so many notes. You might make a couple people upset with that because of their experiences. I think a lot of the angels, and things like that, if we're going with what you've now put together here, will do things like, it's kind of like the way we would explain this phenomenon, but you're saying no, it's kind of a natural occurrence, which is maybe not supernatural. You know what I mean? There's quite a few questions I have, but like the cryptid stuff, like where they're kind of physical. And then they're also whatever that is, where they, go through a portal, or like there'd be a footsteps in the snow or in a field, and then like they just kind of look like they just disappear. That would make sense, where they can kind of zap in and out, and that there won't be, like people always say, well, if UFOs and stuff are real, where they think there's some type of intelligence, why don't they pull up on the White House lawn? Like, this explains so much. Like, where did you come up with just reading it and putting two and two together?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm only reading research that Robert Temple had done for 50 plus years. He was understudies to a lot of people who studied plasma science. And this is just a plasma talk of it. This has been going on for 2,500 years. There's Aristotle has this thing called the Treaty of the Cosmos Treaty. I can't remember what his name is. It's his treatise on the cosmos, basically. And that might have been what it was. But he talked about a lot of this stuff for 2,500 years. This was the common talk of ether and how we can tap into this energy all around us and all this stuff. And ether is kind of the life. It's God's breath into the world. It's God's breath into to creation. I don't know if you've ever seen a real atom, and I just did an episode about this where there's a guy named Edwin Babbitt who wrote a book called The Principle of Light and Color, where he shows exactly what an atom really looks like. And it looks like a torus, a vortex of energy going up. And then there's a magnetic field around it that's coming out of it, like a magnet, like exactly like you see a magnet, right? When you see it, a magnet has a North Pole and a South Pole. And if you look at pictures of a magnetic field online, you'll see that it's just donut shape.
Yes.
That's what Earth is. That's what Earth is. That's what we're in. Earth is a magnet. And it has a magnetic field around it to prove that it's a magnet, right? We have a North Pole, a South Pole, just like all magnets do. And so, but this stuff, again, man, it exists all around us all the time. That's why people don't want to, I think that our governments don't want to talk about this stuff because people could just do this shit at home with ordinary magnets and stuff and plasma, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they can just create, they can bring things into this reality. And I think that these things are a nuisance to half the government. And I think there's another portion of the government that might be kind of hiding these things and working with them and trying to find ways to get them to stay in reality. And that's where you get the idea of underground bases and our government's working with them and stuff like that. And for me, it goes deeper. To me, it's they're the fallen angels. They're the Nephilim. They're the
Okay.
I mean, that's what these things are, because they're if we're made in God's image, we're light beings. We're made in God's image, right? We're creators. These things can't create; they can only corrupt. And so they want to come in our reality, and this is where you get into the idea of sacrificing to these things, because this gets into the idea of vampires and all this other stuff. They're trying to use this blood. They go after. That's why they're taking blood from cows, exsanguinating cows. That's why they're, people are sacrificing babies to them, because they're trying to find ways to stay in our reality. That's what they're trying to do. They're demons, in short. I know a lot of people think that they're angels, but it says it pretty clearly in the Bible that the devil disguises himself as an angel of light. And I think it's 2 Corinthians 11 or something like that.
Right, Lucifer. Yeah. Right.
So
well, I know this is short. It was kind of the weirdest thing that happened. No big deal, man.
Sorry, dude. Yeah.
Like I said, no more apologies necessary, man. We're gonna have to do some type of follow up, if you're willing.
Sure, dude.
Maybe in
I owe you, man.
Like I know you don't owe me nothing. Maybe sometime in like April or something of that nature, I'll talk to you, and we'll figure out and have you come back on, and we'll make it. And that way, people, because there's so many questions on the side, people talking about 0 point energy and all kind of things that I'm sure that you can get into and expound upon. And just wondering if you're open to that. That would be a cool idea.
Sure. Yeah, no, 0 point energy is just a node. It's just a point. Like our brain cells have nodes. You ever seen a plasma ball? When you put your finger to it, it puts a little purple dot on your finger. Right. That little purple dot is a 0 point. Basically, it's like a little portal area, right? It's like a node on this magnetic field. It's a node of one of those. It's where those little streams of electrical energy comes off the magnetic field and connects. So, yeah, I'd love to talk about that more, man.
All right, man. Like I said, no more apologies. Promise me?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, sorry.
All right. Cool. You tried to help me out so much the first time I had you on. You're like, dude, I'll run it through this program. We couldn't fix any of it. But it was what it was. Do me a favor, please. Just that alone, guys, is enough to go over and listen to his podcast. Did you hear that? It's enough for me to have him back on again. Dude, do me a favor. Please tell everyone once again where they can find you and go ahead and listen to your research.
Tom, thank you again, man, for putting me on your show, on your platform, and congratulations on your success on YouTube. I'm happy for you, man. I hope you continue to grow and kill it out there.
I'm trying.
But yeah, we all are, man. It's a grind. You might get 1 follower a day, 2 followers a day, and it's a slow climb up to the top, right? But it's like, you're trying, man. We're out here trying. So, and it's a lot of work. And so you spend a lot of time away from your families and things like that. But if you guys want to hear me, please go follow me at theawakenedpodcast.com. You can find me at Spotify, on Spotify and Apple. Those are the best platforms for me. Do us a favor, both of us, every podcaster you listen to, give them a review and a comment and all that stuff. I mean, when you do that, those algorithms boost us up to the top of the rankings, and we start to get more traffic to our content. So those reviews and those comments really help us out a lot, and they help us continue to book some really amazing guests. So please, if you can do that, give us a review. That would really help me out a lot. And give us a follow if you haven't. Give me a follow, and give Tom a follow if you haven't done so already. Those you don't have to pay us. Just do those kind of things, and they really will help us out in big ways.
Yeah, it's just like it's kind of like when you're doing something that you love, like there's a labor that you have to do. It's like 99% perspiration, 1% whatever the other part is. The 1% I don't even know about that part yet, but anticipation, I don't know the word for it.
Well,
but anyway, it's like it's true. Like I get that incredible, and talking to people like yourself, because to me, you're an incredible guest. I do enjoy the things I heard. That's why I had to contact you. And it was just weird circumstances that happened out. But I always tell you, like I tell everyone on the show, family comes first, man. Family, love of God, all those kind of things, love country, take care of yourself, take care of your neighbors, speak to one another, things like that. So don't ever apologize for, being a dad. That's unnecessary. Even so, your son's still out there, and he's out there, hopefully getting some good assists, and he'll be dunking soon enough. And yeah, dude, I appreciate you nonetheless coming on, man.
Thank you again. And I'm sorry to jump in on Pam like that. Pam, you're awesome. Thank you for always showing some love for everybody. We really appreciate it. Much love to you, Pam.
Much love to everyone. We are the Eye. We are aware. Right up after this, go over and check out check out Magical Journey. He has an interesting guest tonight. He is up in 5 minutes. Love you all.